Constable Steve Baker joins us for this edition of Cop Beat. We're talking back to school as it's officially back to school season. The leaves are starting to change colors, the weather's getting a little cooler, and the kids are back in school. Now, there's a couple things that we here in Lethbridge need to keep in mind with back to school. Is that right, Constable Baker?
There are, right? Because everyone's, parents are excited, kids maybe not excited, but with that, you have to keep in mind that the school zones are back in effect now, right? That's the hardest thing for people to remember, is because you've gone all summer long flying through the school zones, and now all of a sudden the speed limit has halved, and you get that double fine attached to that, right? And really thinking about it, the double fine isn't even the big deal. It's that kid that runs in front of you that you don't see, and we don't want that either. So keep in mind that school zones are back in effect. Look at the signage. What does the sign say? What are the times? Is it a playground zone? Is it a school zone? Know the difference, right? Schools, only school hours, playgrounds all the time. So know the difference between those things, and just be safe when you're driving through an area that has a park or a school, because kids are going to be there, and watch out for that.
And you really do need to be aware of that. Something that you also, maybe parents are very aware of and they want to make their children aware of, is strangers. I imagine a parent sending children to school, that's always something that you're afraid of, someone approaching your child that they don't know.
Yeah, because you're sending your kid off into the big world, and you're sitting at home, crying because your baby's gone. And so it's really important to teach your kids the safety aspects about strangers, and what is a stranger, and what do I do when someone approaches me, what do I do when someone makes me uncomfortable, and with that uncomfortable aspect too, not just strangers. What do I do if a teacher or a student makes me feel uncomfortable? And go over that with your kids. What can you do? What are some things that you can do? And create that open dialogue for them, so that they one, will feel comfortable talking to you if something happens that makes them uncomfortable or a stranger approaches them, and two, that they can have a plan. They can know, because a kid's not going to be able to think on their feet and say, oh, this happened, so I'm going to have to do this and this and this, because they don't have that experience. So teach them, what do you do when someone makes you uncomfortable? What do you do when someone approaches you? And one of the really good steps to teach them is something we call check first, which is check first before you go anywhere with anyone at any time. And so that would include friends, brothers, teachers, cousins, strangers, whatever. Go ask mom, go ask dad before you go anywhere with anyone at any time. And then that way you can keep a little bit of better tab on them, because if it's a stranger or not, if they come up and they say, hey mom, this guy wants me to go with him, you can say yeah, yes or no based upon your experience. You don't leave that up to the child to decide, is this person safe? Is this person a stranger, or am I okay?
I think that's a really good rule of thumb. Just always check first, no matter what. Thank you so much, Constable Baker, for that advice. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned for more on Go right after this.